So thanks, Joe, for coming in.
Thank you, Ben.
And I will turn it over to him.
Thank you, Ben. My name is Joe Hopfer. I'm a professional speaker. Today I want to tell you my story, because everybody in here has a story whether you realize it or not. And everybody in here has a purpose whether you realize it or not. Now you might think your purpose is going to be your career. I thought my purpose was being a computer programmer. And as I got older, it just became a job. It wasn't very fulfilling. You see, 6 years ago, my 15-year-old son killed himself. And that was a game changer for me. Because up until that point, I was a person that different than I am now. Actually, I was a person that I didn't like. And it's because of life and all the negativity that life has to offer. I grew up in a happy home. My father was a great, happy man. My folks got along. I didn't do drugs, I didn't drink. So that's not my story. My life went downhill just because of that negative conversation that we have in our mind and fear. See, my son's problem was that he loved other people more than he loved himself. And I know that to be true because I used to. I never loved myself. I was never taught to love myself because of all the rejections in life. People laughing at me, making fun. I never understood it. But we don't talk about that. That's what's great about psychology. I was telling young men back there, psychology, you want to be successful, you want to be fulfilled in life, psychology is the way to go. Because you understand fear. You understand that negative conversation. You understand life. You understand how powerful words are. See, my son was in love with a girl. And she had a boyfriend that didn't treat her well. And I told my son, you have to stay out of it. Because if you say something, you're going to be the bad guy. Just stay out of it. But he's hurting her. He's cheating. I said, no, son, you have to stay out of it. One day, I guess he decided on a snow day to text her, and he told her what her boyfriend was like. And she texted him back, go die. He did. Words are powerful. Words are very powerful. And if they're powerful to other people, they are just as powerful to ourselves when we say them. When we say that I'm no good, I'm too tall, I'm too ugly, I'm bald, I'm fat. You may not realize that those words hurt when you say that to yourself, whether it's in here or externally. 4 years ago, my father passed away. My father was 5'4" inches tall, 140 pounds. He'll be a greater man than I ever will be because of his love. And so when I was in high school, I wanted a strong masculine father. I didn't realize that life is about love. And even as men, don't be afraid to say it. Don't be afraid to show it. My father had so many friends in his life just because he loved people. Simple, folks. Love. Don't be afraid. People making fun of you. See, I'm standing up here, and I'm not afraid of what anybody in here thinks of me or says when I say, I love every one of you. It's easy. See, now, we may not have to like everybody, but it's real easy to love everybody, because when we love people, we're kind, we're compassionate, we're caring. What we have to do to learn is to love ourselves. See, if you would trip on the floor here over nothing, I'd come over and pick you up. It's all right. You made a mistake. Don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. It's all right. But see, if I did the same thing, the conversation in my mind would be a whole lot different. How stupid am I? I don't even know how to walk. People laugh and make fun of me, think I'm stupid. See, I used to not have the same compassion and love for myself that I did for other people. And that will destroy you. That will ruin your life. You don't need drugs. You don't need alcohol. You don't need to have a broken home. Negative conversation and not loving yourself will destroy your life. You see, since I decided to let my Father and my Son live in my heart, my life has changed. You see, now I have this feeling of familiarity being in this classroom, and I've never been on campus before. I didn't go here. I went to University of Nevada, Las Vegas to see my father. My father graduated from Scranton University. 1965. He was very proud of that. He told anybody he could. He was the first Hopfer in our lineage of Hopfers to go to college and graduate. Like you, he had many fond stories. Back then, every professor was not like Ben. Back then, the professors were Jesuit priests. Great men. And my father was very grateful that they were so tough on him because they helped make him the man he was. Except for one. There was one professor that my father had extra feelings for. He said when that priest would teach about hell, it was as if he was born and raised there. The man was tough. But tough is good. Because when somebody is tough on you, they care. They love you when they're tough. When they tell you that you're slacking, you need to pick it up. They care. Caring is loving. When people don't talk to you, they don't care. Let's go back to first grade, my first grade, 7 years old. It's when I discovered NFL football. I loved NFL football. First grade, I'm writing out the plays. Monday nights. Monday night football was great. I don't know about you, but there's something special when you're playing under the lights. Always something special about that. Let's move ahead to fifth grade. Rhonda Whitney. Oh, Rhonda Whitney. I love that girl as much as a fifth grade boy could. He still lives in me, and I still love her to this day. And let me tell you how Rhonda Whitney felt about me. She couldn't stand me. She hated me. It didn't matter. Because that little boy that I let live inside of me, he still loves her to today. You see, my house was 2 miles that way. I'd walk it back and forth just about every week. Her house was a mile that way. For some reason, I still don't know why, a buddy of mine, we'd follow her home. We'd be on the opposite side of the street, half a block back, just in case she spotted us. You see, I could take you back 40 years later. I could take you back to Las Vegas, Nevada. I could take you to John F. Miller Elementary School. I could take you 3 blocks away from John F. Miller Elementary School on Ardmore Street, 4 houses in, where Rhonda Whitney lived. That's my fondest memory about 5th grade. Wasn't kickball. But see, it was about this girl who rejected me. But I still loved her. Let's move ahead to 9th grade. Somewhere in 9th grade, I was determined I was going to play on the basketball team. I hadn't played organized basketball since 5th grade. That summer before, I went out there and practiced. You guys have your iPods. I had a boombox. I thought I was all that with my boombox. And I'd go to the court, and I'd play all day. At night, pick up games. Whatever it took, all summer, I was going to make that team. School came. I was lucky I had PE in first period. We'd dress out. I'd get there 15 minutes early. I'd dress out. I'd run the park. It was about 1.5 miles round. When I got done, we'd line up and take roll. I'd run it again because the class would. Come basketball practice, I was ready. I was going to make the team because I worked hard. It was down out of 20 kids, it was down to 13. He was taking 12. You see, I was 5 inches taller than the other kid on the team. I was 6'2", eyes of blue. I was 170 pounds. When I was down in the paint, I owned the paint. I didn't make the team. Coach, why didn't I make the team? Son, you weren't fast enough. Coach, out of 12 players, every time I was in third place. We'd run, I was going to be there for you in the fourth quarter. Son, you weren't fast enough up and down the court. I was the biggest kid. That's what he wanted. That's what happened. Now see now, I don't know about everybody in here. When it comes to pity parties, oh, I'm the master. I know none of you probably throw many pity parties. But for me, my pity parties were important. I went home that day after practice. I pulled out my boombox. And I got out Lionel Richie. I don't know if y'all know Lionel Richie. Got out my CD. I turned it on. Hello, is it me you're looking for? For I wonder where you are, and I wonder what you do. You see, the words had nothing to do with my situation, but I played it anyway. Anybody here know what I did when the song was over? I played it again. I played it over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. You see, that's what an undisciplined mind does, is that we take something negative and we play it over and over and over again, and we beat ourselves up, and we lower our self-esteem. Why? Because we value other people's opinion of us more than we value our own. That's not the way to find happiness. You see, we all come into life, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in nothing. You believe in the house plant, whatever it is you believe in. We all came into this world with one thing: love in our heart. When we're first born, that's all we have is love in our heart. When we leave this world, see, I have a jacket at home in my closet. I took off all the pockets. When I'm going through I see that jacket. See, that's the jacket I'm going to wear when I die. You see, there's no pockets on it because I'm not taking anything with me. The only thing I'm taking with me when I leave this world is the love that I came with. That's all we have. That's all life is about. But see, the love in our heart is not love unless we give it away. And love is supposed to be given away selflessly, not with things attached to it. I tell my wife, I'm thinking to myself, ooh, if I take the trash out, maybe something will happen tonight. If I go to the store and be real nice, maybe I'll get this. That's not love. That's bartering. See, I'm supposed to take the trash out. That's my job. So now I just do it. I don't associate anything, no pleasures, no gifts, no nothing with it. You want to know how free that is? That I just go take the trash out, I go on my way. Because it needs to be done. Somebody has to do it. I'm 51, I'm a grown man. I'm too good to take the trash out? Please. Right now, my job, I work at MetLife. I'm a firewall engineer. If it was required of me to keep my job, you have to clean the bathroom. You know what my answer would be? How many times do you want that cleaned? 3, 4 times a day. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. What is there, somebody gonna make fun of me because I gotta clean toilets? I respect janitors. I did that job when I was in college. That was a second job for me, working nights. That is a hard job and nobody appreciates it. I've been security guard sitting there falling asleep. I know every security guard at work. People walk by them and they just don't even know that, they don't even know they're there. Are you that more important than a security guard or a janitor? If you think so, I'm sorry for you. Because I'm not. I'm not more important than anybody else in this world. I'm very grateful for the things that I have. I'm very grateful when somebody simply says, hey, good morning. Wow, they took a few seconds out just to say good morning to me. Makes me feel good. Let's go to my junior year, 1 week after the Super Bowl. I decided right then I was going to live my dream finally. I was going to make the football team. I was going to make the varsity football team. I tried out once before when I was in 6th grade. I couldn't make weight. I was 15 pounds overweight. This year, nothing or nobody, not even the coach, was going to get in my way. I was going to make that team. You see, when I was a junior, my morning ritual was hit the snooze twice. At 7 o'clock, I'd get up. I'd be in the shower. I'd get dressed. I'd have a cup of Carnation instant breakfast or some dry Captain Crunch. Oh, I got to start my day off with the Captain. 7:15, I'd be out the door. I'd be at school at 7:30 in my locker, getting my books, walk in the hall thinking I was cool, get to class at 7:40. So when I made that choice, I was going to make the football team, and nobody or nothing was going to get in my way. I was up at 5:45. I was up at the school at 6 o'clock. I was running the track. 4 to 5 times a week, I was running. I was sprinting. It wasn't going to be because I wasn't too fast this time. I was sprinting. Then I started running the bleachers. Then after I got running the bleachers real good, I ran the bleachers up and down backwards. You try that. That's hard. God knows I can't do it today, but it was hard. After school, I wasn't that strong. I never lifted weights. After school, I started lifting weights. I got on the bench. Oof, clank, clank, clank. Oof, clank, clank. 10 more on each side. Oof, clank, clank. All summer long. Nothing or nobody was going to stand in my way of my dream since 1st grade football. Then it came. Opening game. Friday night, home field advantage. Oh, man. Couldn't have gotten better. First game under the lights. I don't know what it was, if it was the electricity from the crowd, if it was the pep talk the coach gave. But when the team ran out on the field, there seemed to be a level of certainty that if they got the kickoff, they're going to score. See, Valley Vikings, we had little Harold Carmichael, 5'5", 145 pounds. And let me tell you about Harold. It was like trying to catch a chicken. That man was fast and he was quick. And he was back there for the kickoff. He was at the 30, he was at the 40, he ran to the right side, he spun, he missed a couple tackles, he came across the field, picked up a few blockers, he was at the 50, the 40, the 30, he scored, touchdown. The crowd went crazy. You know the metal noise of the bleachers, everybody jumping on the bleachers? I looked over at my buddy and I said, man, he has some great seats. What happened? What happened? I wasn't on that team. You see, a week before practice started, I had a 15-second conversation with myself. Who do I think I am? I've never played football before. Most of those guys on the team played last year. They've been playing since Pop Warner football. Why do I think I can make the team? You see, if you don't know it, high school football, everybody makes the team. You just don't play as much. I talked myself out of trying. Fear, ladies and gentlemen, fear is a dream killer. Fear will put you in the hospital. Fear will kill you. See, some people say that fear is false evidence appearing real. What we're afraid of in here isn't real, and most of it's not. Let me give you an example. I'm 51 years old. You say, hey, let's go to the shore, let's go to the ocean. I'm like, let's go. I'll be in the ocean playing in them waves 4 or 5 hours. But every time, even up until now, I'm out there, and at one point or another, it comes to my mind. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. And I'm looking around, looking for sharks. And I got to talk myself out of, this is not real. This is just a fear. It's stupid. It's a movie. I got a better chance of dying on the way home. And it's true every time. But I do. I recognize that fear. But fear is false evidence appearing real. Because I get nervous. I get goosebumps. And I want to get out of that water. So it appears real. But it's stuff that we put in our subconscious that we're not aware of. I never watched that Jaws movies thing. I'm gonna remember all this and be scared for the rest of my life. It just goes in there. And you guys learn about psychology. That's why psychology is the key to life. Understanding our thoughts, understanding our feelings, understanding what we did way back when affects and creates who we are now, even at the age of 51, like I am. You guys remember when you were little and your father or your mother, if you had the opportunity to have one, would come home? See, I remember I have fragments and pieces of my dad coming home. And I'd be so excited, I'd run, Daddy! I'd put my arms up. And my dad was 5'4" at the time. Well, he was, I was smaller than I am now. He'd bend down and he'd lift me up. And he'd lift me up and he'd put me on his shoulder. You see, there's something magical about when your parents lift you up. I'd be on my father's shoulder, my hands around his neck. There's a spiritual connection that happens. You see, I would see the world like my father saw it at 5'4". That changed my perspective. I'm seeing the world from down here to what he saw. It's a fantastic thing. I hope a lot of you are able to remember that. You see, 4 years ago when my father died, I was blessed. I had the opportunity to be there with him. He was on hospice for 6 months. And if you guys don't know what hospice is, it's a form of our medical system that they're able to give you higher amounts of painkillers, or they're able to give you higher amounts of drugs because you're at end of life. And they don't want you to have pain. Your regular doctor won't give you the amount of drugs that they'll give people on hospice because you're dying. And they just want you to be comfortable. And those hospice people are fantastic. And see, my father was taking so much morphine that he'd come in and out of consciousness. And I was sitting there in a chair the day before he died. I was holding his hand, and he woke up because I felt him squeeze my hand. And he looked at me. He said, "Son, I'm tired. My body's wore out. It's time for me to go. I want to be with my mom and dad. I want to be with your son, James, again." And he closed his eyes. A couple minutes later, I felt him squeeze my hand again. I looked at him. He said, "Son, you're going to be okay. Take care of your mother. Your two sisters need you." And my father closed his eyes for the last time. The next day, at midnight, my father passed away. And see, if you've never been with somebody when they pass away, all our lives we worry about giving somebody something, a tie, a purse, whatever it is they like. Most of the time we can't afford it anyway. We charge it, whatever. We want them to be happy. We want them to think we love them. But see, there's no better gift to give somebody than to be there when they die. Because all I'm doing is giving my dad love. Just holding his hand. Think about it. Do you want to die in bed alone with nobody around? You want to be scared by yourself? Or do you want your family around? Just being there supporting you, making you feel comfort. It's a great feeling. Don't ever miss that opportunity because it is a life changer. See, right before my father died, for 2 hours, he was struggling breathing. When he would breathe, a gurgling noise would be in the back of his throat because his lungs were filling up with fluid and he was drowning. But because of the morphine, he wasn't in any pain. But I sat there. I held his hand and he was unconscious. And I hoped that he could hear me. And I told him, "Let go, Dad. Let go. I'll be okay. I'll take care of Mom. It's your turn. You sacrificed and worked hard for everybody. It's your turn, let go. And he did. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to show my father that kind of love. You see, one last time, my father didn't have the strength to lift his head off the pillow. But one last time, my father bent down and he lifted me up with his words. He once again put me on his shoulder. And I felt the love, my father, lifting me up. And I'll never forget that. Ellen Langer wrote a book, Mindfulness. And psychologists know, when you perceive choice, you perceive happiness. Mindfulness. By show of hands, anybody know? We know what mindfulness means? Webster says mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's attention at the present moment while calmly acknowledging one's feelings and bodily sensations. I don't know about you, but I'm ADD and that's too much for me. Let's move on. Let's say mindfulness is just being aware of our thoughts. Be mindful of the choices that we make, because I never was. Be mindful. Do I do this? Do I do this? Do I study? Do I go out drinking with my friends? Do I study? Do I do this? Do I go to work? You know the right decision. If you're mindful, you will know the right decision. You guys probably come to class and tell your friends, I have to go to class. It's a requirement. Not, I get to go to class. It's an opportunity. You probably wake up to an alarm clock. You see, I used to wake up to an alarm clock. When I wake up to an alarm clock, I always hit snooze. Wait till the last minute, get out of bed, and I'm in the shower, talking to myself, making myself go to work instead of getting back in bed. But see, being mindful of our choices and being mindful of the way we talk, using the words that we use to other people is the way we communicate to the world and to ourselves. Our paradigm is the way we see the world. You see, our thoughts create our perception. Our perception creates our reality. So what you think will become your reality. It's the way you communicate. For me, when I made that choice to let my father and my son live in me, I shifted my paradigm. I shifted the way I saw the world. And see, now, I wake up to an alarm of opportunity. I never once hit the snooze. When I get up, I'm excited. What are the opportunities that I'm going to see today? Who's going to touch me? Who maybe can I touch? I was given the opportunity to come speak in front of you folks today. I'm very grateful. As I wrap things up, I want you to be mindful as I recite this poem by Valerie Cox. It's called The Cookie Thief. A woman was waiting at the airport one night with many long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shop. She bought a bag of cookies and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see the man sitting beside, as bold as could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a scene. She munched cookies and watched the clock as that old gutsy cookie thief diminished her stock. She became more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking if I wasn't so nice, I'd blacken his eye. For each cookie she took, he took one too. When there was only one left, she wondered what he would do. And with a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, that's right, he took the last cookie. But he broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and said, "Oh, brother, this guy has some nerve, and he's also rude. He didn't even show any gratitude." She can never remember when she'd been so galled, and she sighed with relief when her flight was called. She collected her belongings and headed to the gate, refusing to look back at the thieving ingrate. Well, she boarded her plane and she sank in her seat. She sought out her book, which was almost complete. She reached in her baggage, and much to her surprise, there was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. "If mine are here," she moaned with despair. "The others were his. He simply wanted to share. Too late to apologize. She realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief. As I look back on my life at different disagreements, different arguments I've had, I wonder, how many times was I the rude one, the ingrate, the thief? So that I wrap this up and I end my speech. The next time you're in an argument, I hope you stop and think about the cookie thief and wonder, what is that person that you're arguing about to? What do they see in that situation? And hopefully you'll never be the rude one, the ingrate or the thief. Thank you. Thanks, Ben.